Solve the polynomial equation. 2x cubed plus 1 equals 0. What you need to do is you need to factor it according to the sum of cubes, just like we did when we did the sum of cubes and the difference of cubes. What's the pattern for the sum of cubes? X cubed plus y cubed factors into x plus y times, what's in the second set of parentheses? X squared minus x times y plus y squared. Well, what is it that we cubed to get 27x cubed? (3x). What is it that we cubed to get 1? 1. So here we go. 3x goes everywhere x appears. So 3x. 1 goes everywhere y appears, so I have 3x plus 1 times 3x gets squared. What is 3x squared going to be? 9x squared minus x times y, so then I take the x piece and the y piece, I multiply them together. What's 3x times 1? 3x plus y squared. So 1 squared is 1. So you've used the sum of cubes formula, you factored it down. The next thing you need to do is take your linear factor and set it equal to 0 and solve. So the first one's the linear factor, 3x plus 1 equals 0. Solve it just like you would solve. Divide by 3. So one of your answers is -1/3. Okay. The other factor is degree 2. It's a quadratic. You can't factor it. If it's been involved in the sum of cubes, you're not going to be able to break it down into 2 parentheses. You're going to have to use the quadratic formula at this point. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to use the quadratic formula to find the 2 factors of the second factor. A is 9. B is -3, and C is 1. Quadratic formula says (b) plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So here we go. What do we write first? 3. -3 makes 3. Plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Question?
Yeah, it's negative b, so wouldn't that be -3?
But b is -3. So when you do -3, that turned it back into a positive. 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 36 over 18. What's 9 minus 36? -27 over 18. Well, you need to work on -27. What will it factor into? Well, if it's negative, then you've got to break it down into -1. And then what are the factors of 27? And it is one of the factors. Does it have a factor that's a perfect square? 9. So -1 times 9 times 3. So that is I, and this is 3, so I have 3 plus or minus 3i square roots of 3 over 18. Do you have any questions on where I got the 3i or the square root of 3? Now look to all of the numbers that are outside of the radical. If all 3 of these have something in common, you need to simplify it. So they all do. What do they all have in common? 3. So 3 goes in here once, and in here once, and in here 6 times. This turns out to be 1 plus or minus 1I square root of 3 over 6. Those are the other two factors. So negative 1/3 and then 1 plus 1I square root of 3 over 6 and then 1 minus 1I square root of 3 over 6. Those are your three. One of them's real. That negative 1/3 is real. It will happen on the x-axis. The other two are imaginary. So your graph will do something like this. Negative 1/3, it'll come up here. It'll dip, but it won't touch the x-axis again. Okay? It'll have the same shape as a cubic, but it will not touch the x-axis again. Any questions on that one?